Hey guys, we're gonna start getting into writing full-blown essays in this class. And the first type of essay that we're gonna write today is gonna be an SAQ, which stands for short answer question. And these are probably the easiest ones to write for the AP test. I mean, they're pretty straightforward. All right, so SAQ. These are gonna count for 20% of your score on your AP test. So if we can get really, really good at writing these, then the next biggest percentage is your DBQ. So those are the two things that we're really going to focus on, how to write and what to do. So I'm going to be switching back and forth and kind of going over the prompt with y'all that we're going to write today, how to write an SAQ, so how you would tackle this and write it. I really, really want y'all to write this. Oh, actually, no, it's an assessment in Schoology. So I'm going to have y'all type this one up. That way I can go through and read it and grade it that way for you guys. All right, so let me go over a couple of things on how we write SAQs, the best way to set them up, and then we will look at the one that y'all are writing today. So I'm going to show you my little book. All right, so the first thing that y'all really have to do is make sure that you understand what the question is asking, and then I want you guys to respond to the prompt. So me as a grader, like pretend I know nothing about history, I should be able to figure out what the question is asking just by you answering it. So try to use as much wording from the prompt as possible. I mean, don't use the prompt word for word, but if there's a word like continuity, which is like, like what stayed the same, like, well, throughout this time period or during this period. If it's asking for something like a change, like, well, before this and then after. If it's asking for a comparison, make sure that you use comparative words. This is the most important thing. If the prompt is asking about a stimulus, which is a passage or a picture, you have to refer to it in your response. I graded SAQs the first year they came out on the AP test, and it had a picture that went with it. If you did not refer to the picture in your response, it didn't matter if your response was 100% historically correct and it answered the question. If you did not mention the picture, you got it wrong. Okay. The second thing with SAQs is to use specific vocabulary. Okay. And what you want to do, so this was actually the SAQ that I graded. It showed people bowing before the emperor of China. So instead of people bowed before the emperor to show respect. If you know that tributary, if you knew the word kowtow, which we haven't got to yet, we'll get there, that bowing was a sign of submission. So try to be specific with your wording. And then you want to provide a complete explanation. Okay. So for example, if the SAQ has to do something with the fall of Rome, okay, instead of saying the decline of the Roman Empire led to feudalism, which it did, but okay, great, so what? You need to explain. So always ask yourself, does your answer that you have written answer my question of so what? Okay, so yeah, the decline of the Roman Empire led to feudalism. Okay, so what does that have to do with history? Why is it important? So what? Okay, so it led to feudalism as political power became decentralized and peasants turned to local lords for protection. Okay, so that answers the so what. Okay, so they turned to feudalism and it, political power became decentralized and then peasants had to look elsewhere for protection. So you want to make sure that you thoroughly answer your response. So one of the things that you can do is use what's called the ACE method, and that's make sure you answer the question, okay, cite specific information. So this would be like your vocab words, give specific examples, and then explain. This is what I call the so what. Okay, great. Everybody liked Buddhism and it was widely accepted. Okay, so what? What does that do for history? Like, how is that going to help with anything? All right, so I'm going to switch from, if I can. Hold on, we're going to pause and then I'm going to show y'all your prompt.